then how do you and channel, as a distributor or a manufacturer, how are you exchanging data? What's selling? What isn't? What is a top moving customer segment? Where do you have large customers? Like Jim was saying, what's in the funnel? What prospects are we after? What small customers are we trying to grow? There's so much more data that you can exchange. That supercharges your marketing effort.
So guys, we were recently at an industry event presenting some best practices on channel marketing. And it was interesting to hear from people. There were a lot of different interpretations on what channel marketing is. You know, on one end, you hear people like saying, hey, where's my sales flyer? Where's my promo, right? You know, that could be interpreted as channel marketing. But I think setting the stage, we kind of provided our perspective on channel marketing. And if there's two things channel marketing needs to do, you know, the first thing is it needs to be able to attract buyers into your offering, right? So both from a manufacturing and from a distribution standpoint, you have to be able to have effective marketing across, you know, the board for your actual offering and bring people into your offering. The second thing it needs to do is it has to be able to maximize the sales effectiveness. So provide your selling teams with the tools, the information, and the assets that they need to actually create conversations and close deals with end customers. Now, the boundaries of channel marketing, I mean, it's end-to-end throughout the buyer journey, right? So from early discovery of your products and your solutions, all the way through to closing, all the way through to post-purchase loyalty. So setting the stage here, guys, for at least our view on channel marketing, you know, let's talk a little bit about some best practices that we recommend to both distributors and manufacturers who are looking to create more demand out there and are looking to provide their sales teams with really strong tools to convert that demand into their brands and into the channel. Jim, let's start with you. What would be some of the advice that you would give?
Yeah, thanks, James. You know, the last few years, we've really seen a lot of people get back to the basics. What are the fundamentals that the channel needs? So you've seen a lot of investment, not only from a capital standpoint, but also from a focus standpoint on upgrading your PIM, fixing your DIM, getting better A-plus content in there, evaluating your MDF or your co-op programs, and really just saying, hey, as a manufacturer, am I giving my distributor partners the information and the content they need to be successful? And that's really great, but that's just one step, and it's problematic because I think it's eating up too much mind share in your marketing team or your marketing partner. And you're saying, hey, just focus on this and we'll be okay. So if you look at it, what else should you be doing from a fundamental standpoint? You got to evaluate your push-pull strategies. And what I mean by that is, what programs do you have in place? Because if you're using the same old sales playbook that's 5-10 years old, that's just remodified or tweaked in the fourth quarter, and you say, hey, here's a new book and it's going to be great, you're not going to get where you want to go. And I think a pitfall that happens is a lot of people say, hey, our marketing team, they're doing digital. Our marketing partner, they're digital guys. In reality, that's not totally fair to them or your sales team or your agents, right? It's more than just focusing on the digital side of the business. Your programs have to align with end user pain points. They have to help drive tangible results that your sales team can say, hey, this program's working, right? If I'm out on a job site and I'm trying to sell something that is a low mind share item, like a safety gear, a boot, something like that, that is really hard to say, yes, I care about it, I'm going to stop what I'm doing. The one area that you can do is say, let's put a program around this, let's show the benefit, let's drive our value there, and that way our sales team is not just left holding the bag. So to recap, yes, do the basics, get your digital area set up because you need that. A-plus content's important, your PIM, your DAM, all that's really important. But don't do it to a point where you're sacrificing your programs or your partnership with marketing and sales. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones who have to go out in the field and deliver and close on that deal.
Yeah, such great points there, Jim. Let's double click a little bit more on the sales and marketing alignment. I mean, one of the things that we see is that sometimes the marketing just doesn't have clear perspective on the types of conversations that sales agents are having in the field when they're with an end customer. Like, so how can marketing close that gap and get a better understanding of how they can provide better tools, programs, and content for those types of interactions?
Yeah, James, here's a novel idea. It's actually field work, right? Your marketer cannot be successful behind their desk and just trying to think up a program. They have to put in the work. You got to get out in the field. You got to have conversations with your sales team, your agents, your buyers, understand the market and find the nuance. Because if you don't have the nuance, you're going to be passed over. So I really do believe it's an immersive process, and that's where we see the best marketing teams succeed.
Yeah, very well said, Jim. What about this one, Jim? Maybe you could add some color on it. We hear a lot of sales teams telling marketing, hey, we just need more leads.
Yeah, just a good lead, right? Well, look, that's true, right? You do need leads to close the deal, but I would say, how are you qualifying that lead? Where are they in the funnel? Here's a metric that you can say this is old school, but how are you nurturing your leads? What are you turning an MQL into a SQL, right? So who's responsible for what? Where are you going to make that handoff? And don't waste your sales team with, hey, we sent out an e-blast and someone clicked on it and boom, I think you can just go out there and close the deal, right? It takes a little more work to qualify it, to put together something that's been nurtured to the point where they're actually in that mode where they're ready to buy. Sometimes that's a really long sales process. You know, we're not always talking about something that could be a quarter. We can talk something that can be 3 to 6 quarters long. So it's your responsibility to really nurture and keep driving home that awareness, the value prop, anything that you change through innovation, new product launches. You got to keep hammering them, and you have to be very consistent. Otherwise, it's going to remain a bad lead.
Yeah, great input, Jim. So, John, what are you hearing and seeing out there?
Well, I think Jim covered a lot of great points. I mean, the world has changed. You know, when I got into distribution marketing 25 years ago, your job was to make sure that the color of your logo was correct on the golf ball, right? That was channel marketing. Get the t-shirts out there, right? A lot has evolved. So, but I think you don't want to lose the fact that Jim said it very well, you're supporting that direct sales team that's out there in the field every day. And you can learn a lot as a marketer by being involved with your sales team to actually see the challenges they face. But today, you do have much more data and opportunities to create a more seamless marketing experience. I mean, before it was the manufacturer had to tell you as the distributor what to do, and then you had to walk out and tell the customer in person. Today, through digital and data, you can provide much more direct communication and what I call data points. So for example, right, how do you bring EDI and APIs and direct communication of data and marketing direct to the end customer as a distributor and as a manufacturer? There's a lot of barriers that are down today, so that's a key area. Then how do you in channel, as a distributor or a manufacturer, how are you exchanging data? What's selling? What isn't? What is a top moving customer segment? Where do you have large customers? Like Jim was saying, what's in the funnel? What prospects are we after? What small customers are we trying to grow? There's so much more data that you can exchange. That supercharges your marketing effort. And I think in the channel, a lot of people are not using data properly. They've really got a lot of times developing good assets, like good videos, good leave behinds, but they're not delivering it properly because they're not using data.
Yeah, that's so important, John. And that is just, if you're not leveraging data to the fullest today, and if you're not sharing data between manufacturer and distributor, you're missing out on a big opportunity, because there's so much more data that's available from each party, and to be able to do joint planning and joint programs around that data is so important for performance today. So John, how do you get a little more specific on some of the data that is being shared and some of the programs that could come out of such discussions?
Yeah, as a manufacturer, you have to make sure that your distributor understands what your top selling items are, why you're pushing them, what is the value prop. You have to deliver that effectively to the distributor. Then as a distributor, it's your role to make sure you're communicating that with your channel partners directly to the end customer. So that's how you really get the push-pull that you and Jim were talking about. Your role is to make sure the information gets there in a way that the customer and your field sales team can understand it. Because then you truly have seamless push-pull all the way through the channel.
Yeah, well said. So we heard some things, John, directly from manufacturers who they weren't as happy with the performance of their distributors in being able to get and execute their information across all of their communication channels and towards getting in front of end customers effectively in their mind. What advice would you have for manufacturers and distributors trying to do a better job at executing, the information and getting in front of end users?
Yeah, I think Jim touched a lot on it. Great assets that you then get down to the tactical basis. How are you delivering this message? Where does it sit on the website? What's the email campaign to support it? Who are we targeting? Really get down into the details of the tactical execution plan. A lot of times, and I think Jim will agree, you got a great plans that just aren't executed properly on a tactical side. And I think it really starts there.
Yeah, John, if I may jump in, one thing that I really like and encourage is when you're putting together these brand assets for your channel partners, one thing that's really great is, look, they're going towards the least amount of resistance. So make sure you also put together in that prep work a how to work with us document. I mean, it sounds very basic, but if you have a cheat sheet of, hey, it's easier to do business with me because I have every piece of information I need with this X manufacturer, the distributor partners are going to go towards there. The reps are going to go towards there because it makes their life easier and more efficient. So I think when you're thinking of this, like, it's not just about getting your brand or your multiple brand assets to a distributor partner, but make sure you understand, hey, this is how you can work together. This is how you can maximize our resources. Here's our different portals or image libraries. Here's how we do X, Y, Z. Make that at the tip of their fingers, and you're going to see a lot of success.
Yeah, great input, guys. So I've got one last question here. Jim, I'm going to start with you. If you're going to speak directly to a director of channel marketing at a manufacturer, what's the top suggestion that you would give to him or her as to what they should be focused on today?
Yeah, it's a great question, James. And I think I always go back to an inward-facing audit, the very first question. Where are you today? What is your mind share at? How much is your team focusing on what? Is it 80% on your PIM DAM project? Well, then we need to evaluate that and transition, right? Because you're over servicing that one area. If you feel like, hey, we've already updated some of our tech resources, we have a great database, well, that's wonderful, because now we really need to put our programs in hyperdrive and really focus and prioritize there. So I always start with that internal audit. I want to understand, what does your day-to-day look like? Are you playing a lot of whack-a-mole and getting nowhere? And how can we refocus you and your team to actually start getting some of these things done?
Yeah, that's great advice, Jim. John, switching gears to you, speaking directly to, say, a VP of sales or a director of field marketing at a distributor, what advice would you give?
Yeah, you've got great manufacturers. One, you got to understand everything they have to offer. And those that have better programs that can help you deliver them, you got to give them preference. So it starts with evaluating your assets. And then for me, it kind of gets down to a simple equation. The the more often you talk to customers with an offer or a sales call or a marketing program, the math is the more frequently they buy. So it's really a simple equation of great programs, the more frequently you contact them, the more frequently they buy. And that's not just your human assets, that's your marketing assets and all your programs. And I think a lot of people do not properly access their marketing programs. They've got a great sales team, they don't have a good channel marketing program to support them. And if you can do that more often, you're going to win more often.
Yeah, that's great, John. So John, one last question for you. We're speaking with a distributor right now, and they have a RevOps leader who's trying to improve incremental revenue growth. And we're suggesting more of a pilot type of program here that leverages data. Summarize that conversation and what that looks like for that distributor, because it does involve a lot of suppliers in trying to band together data and resources from suppliers and driving market demand and growth over there.
Yeah, at a high level, you're taking that item level data and the market level data from the manufacturer, and they're overlaying it their existing and prospective customer base. And then they're taking the programs and saying, hey, for my biggest customers, here's how I'm going to talk to them. And here's how I'm going to execute it. This program's going out on such and such a date. And then we expect our sales team to follow up on that program. So it's overlaying what you have data-wise from your manufacturers to your existing data points, and then building the programs to support it. And it's really almost that simple. Seems simple, difficult to execute.
Yeah, that's great, John. So wrapping this up, if you are a manufacturer distributor out there, look at channel marketing to help you drive more revenue and profit performance across your teams. Go beyond the basics of just getting the digital assets produced and into the hands of your partners, and try and advance towards developing programs that will actually help you drive more awareness within the channel across your distributors, but ones that reach out into the marketplace, create demand directly with end customers, and find ways to pull that demand back through to where they can convert that demand. And these programs have to hit on two things. They have to captivate end customer awareness into your offering, and they have to be able to provide phenomenal tools to the sales teams involved. That's across the channel, across all selling motions, and across an omni-channel approach. Once you've done that, you can move into really getting a little bit more sophisticated into data. So being able to share your data with distributors and distributors sharing data with their suppliers to try and come up with new programs that could actually move the needle, whether that's share a wallet or new market development. So take these tips in mind and bring them back to your team, and good luck creating some more performance out there. John, Jim, thanks for the insights here. Appreciate it.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, thanks, James.
Thank you for watching. If you liked what you heard and you want to put some of these insights to use across your team, please reach out to us at dorngroup.com. If you'd like to receive more unique insights for mastering channel performance as either a manufacturer or a distributor, follow us on LinkedIn or our YouTube channels.